Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. Gene Joke here, and today I'm adding Super Bubble Pop to my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever. Super Bubble Pop is a 3D puzzle game for the Game Boy Advance, which can be found on the Pico Collection 3. In the game you have a bunch of coloured bubbles on a 3D grid which will advance forward, and you have to match colours in a row to clear them before they overwhelm you. Match 3 of the same colour to pop them, but you have to clear the grid of bubbles before more appear. But not only do bubbles move up the grid towards you, but they will stack upwards as well, giving the game a three-dimensional aspect, unlike most puzzle games, which will take you a moment to adjust to, but it doesn't take too much doing. There are power-ups as well, including colour bombs and road clearing attacks and time zone effects, which add a little bit of strategic depth, but they're not always that useful. There are different characters to choose from, and they're effectively like a DJ, like a sci-fi DJ type character, and each one has a unique super move which will help you clear the bubbles or manipulate the grid. There's over 100 levels across multiple difficulties, and the difficulty ramps up at a fairly steady pace. As far as these kind of puzzle games go, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It can be quite fun, but I did find repetition starts setting in after a while, and it's not the most compelling of these games, but it's decent enough. Now, this is the Game Boy Advance version, and there were other versions that came out on the GameCube, PS2 or what have you. Naturally they wouldn't run on the Evercade, so this version doesn't look as good as those. Effectively, although it is 3D, it's pretty much from a fairly isometric view. It can be a little bit hard to read until you get used to it, but it looks okay, but nothing special. The design of the characters is quite quirky, but it's also fairly sort of generic, bland or DJ sci-fi looking. There's nothing outstanding about it, but it does the job. Honestly, the best thing about the game is the music. It might not be to everyone's taste, but you've got a fairly bouncy electronic, I suppose almost EDM techno type soundtrack. To be perfectly honest, it wouldn't sound out of place on a Wipeout game. Overall, the game doesn't necessarily give the best first impression. It seems like it's going to be a very mediocre puzzle game. I remember when it came out, I remember seeing it in the shops and I dismissed it as exactly that, a very mediocre puzzle game, and I didn't even give it the time of day, and I would never have played it if it hadn't come to the Evercade. And for the most part, it is a very average puzzle game, but it is perfectly playable, and if you want a slightly different puzzle game with some decent music, you could certainly do worse than Super Bubble Pop. So to place it on my overall ranking list, I would have to place it above Super Burger Time, but below Zero Tolerance Underground. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.